All right, testing one, two. Testing one, two. Okay, cool. All right, so what I'm doing today right now is just going over like a tool thing that I kind of made that I hope is going to be able to help people out. So let's see. Let's start from the beginning. So I'm going to go ahead and make a new folder. So basically, what this does is it allows you to use a color mask. And I'm in the business of modding, so I'm using other works other people have done. They've got color masks set up for different characters and such. And so I was like, I need to find a way to split these colors up and do it. And the typical red, green, blue split up with the channel is pretty solid, but I wanted something a little bit easier, something I can just keep coming back to. So I created a blend file with a little node group in it, and I'm just going to kind of show you how it works. So let's see what do I have here. So I made it an asset as well, so a blend file will be available, and you can add it to your asset library. And here it is. And so I'm going to grab this test plane and just toss it in here, and let's go ahead and set it up. And I'm gonna switch it over to this. Okay, so basically what this is on the left side is just a plane with an image that I'm using as my mask. And on the right hand side, I have some elements of that mask applied. So I'm gonna switch this to just append, I guess. Um, I'm gonna go to the shader editor. And this is where all the magic happens, right? And so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go ahead and delete this and show you what I'm working with. So this is the node group that I created. I call it mask splitter, all right? This is the mask, right? So if I take this and I plug it directly into my base color, it's the same thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a mix node to set this up, right? So let's make a node real quick. So Shift A, oops, wait, hold on. I'm gonna hit Shift A, texture. Wow, my hands do not want to work right now. Let's see a sky texture. What is this? I don't even know. I've never used any of these before. Sky. Oh, I guess it needs to have some other plugin with it. Let's do texture. And let's see, what a brick texture. What about that? Will that work? Maybe, but I probably should have picked a texture ahead of time. Oh, let's do a checker texture. That's gotta work. There we go. Checker texture. Nice. Change the scale, whatever. All right, so I got a checker texture right here. I'm going to use that as my base image, right? You don't need to, but that's what I'm going to do for this. So I'm going to go ahead and first, let's go ahead and unplug that. Let's go ahead and make a mix node. So I'm going to hit Shift A, and then I'm going to hit S to search, and then I'm just going to type in mix. And it'll give me a mix RGB node. I believe in 3.4 and above, it's just a mix node, and you have to choose whether you want it to be a color mix node or whatever. But I just got to set it as a basic mix node. And all I need to do is pick what color I want to change and plug it into the factor here. So I want to say, let's change this red one. So I'll plug it in here, and let's plug this in here as well. All right, I'll plug it in here, and then the bottom color is going to be the one that I want. So there it is, it's red. I can go ahead and make it pink, right? And then if I want to put this as the main color, I can plug that there. And now I should have my background, and then I have this pink color here, right? Now if I want to do a multiply, as often is done, there we go. I've colored that area like so. And I could make it as an overlay, whatever type of blend that I want to use, right? Well, we'll just keep it as, well, yeah, we'll use multiply for now, right? And there we go. Now I want a different color. Let's see, my mask only has, like, say, blue on it. So let's do that. So I'm gonna hit Shift D to make another mix node. I'm gonna plug this one, oh, this color into the top color, right? I just want to continue on. Plug this in here. And now I want blue to be my factor, right? So I hit blue, and now it's gonna give me the same color again, but it's in the blue side, right? So I could change it to, say, green this time. And that's it. That's really all that it is. So I can apply a texture map in Blender, right? So a lot of times we have game engines, things that will break this stuff down and set up the different channels to different things, to set up the color nodes for customization and different things like that within the actual game engine. But sometimes you want to set it up in Blender first so you kind of know what you're working with, or make a new mask, or apply those colors for renders later, all kinds of different things. And that's kind of what this does. And why this function is not built into Blender, I have no idea. It is a great function. I don't know if it'll be that difficult to do, but, or maybe it will be in the future. I don't know. But I can go ahead and do this for the whole things. White and black is a little bit tricky in the past when I've tried to do things, but this one handles it pretty well. Like there's no issue. So let's go ahead and add another one in there. I just add it in the chain. And let's grab the black here, and I'll throw black in there. Let's change black to red, and there we go. It's red. And it leaves everything else alone. And that's the whole thing that I wanted to make sure, that it's just grabbing those specific colors and it's not trying to, I don't need to overlay on top of it, right? I can just pick those colors and then roll with it. And you can switch these mix nodes at any time. I want this, say, the green to be mixed. There it goes. It's not on there. Let's make this one color. Now the other thing is you can also use these factors for different elements. Like let's see, I want to change the roughness of whatever I have being green. So I've got the green node here, right? Or well, I want to use this green, not this green, but this green, right? So I know that this area I want to be, say, gold. So let's go ahead and make another one of these. Boom, plug it in the chain. Let's grab green. We're gonna plug green in right there, and we're gonna change green to like a gold color. All right. And let's make it not color burn. We'll make this a mix. So it's like right on top. There we go. And let's go ahead now and create another mix, right? So I'm gonna hit Shift D to create a new mix node. And I'm gonna grab green. I'm gonna plug green into here, right? And my base color, so maximum roughness is white. So I'm gonna move this to a full white, and then I'm gonna move this to full black. And I'm gonna go ahead and put this into here. All right, so as I move this around, you can see that everything is full roughness except for this area, right? So I can apply that. If I want to do it to metallic, I can do the same thing. Let's go ahead and Shift D again and put green into there. But in this case, it's the opposite, I believe, right? So throw this into here. I've made, I think, everything else metallic. So I'm gonna switch these around, because zero metallic is actually black and full metallic is white. So now I've got that shiny, right? And say I want to keep the other area somewhat metal, right? I can just change this top one from black to, say, like a gray, right? Change the value of metalness that I have for the rest of it. And vice versa, just like I did up here, I can continue to add different elements at different levels. So let's say, let's make this green one also, oh, let's make this this purple area shiny as well. So let's do this. We're gonna go ahead and grab, I'll start with the roughness. We're gonna move this over a little bit, plug this in. All right, and now I want to grab the purple area, which is my red, plug it into the factor. All right, and so everything I had set before is still there. And now this is it's also black, but I don't want it to be as shiny, so I'm gonna move this one just a little bit less, right? We're gonna make it a little bit less shiny. It's not as shiny. And let's do the same thing here, but let's make the roughness not as predominant, right? So put it right into the fact right there. Now let's make this a little bit more rough than the other one. So I've got two different values of the color here. And you can just keep going on, right? I can go in and say, okay, from this point where I made this emission, let's go ahead and plug our emissive color into there. I think I can just plug this one. No, I don't think it should be like that. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and grab another mix node here, and we're gonna grab this red area, right? Because I know it's red. And I'm gonna go ahead and plug it in there. Let's plug this into here, right? And the top card I want to be black, right? And the way emissive works, this is the actual color for the emissive, right? So I want to say I'm gonna make it like a light blue. And let's change our emissive strength, right? Cool. So I got this shiny part here. If I go in and look at it, I've got that shiny part. I can change the strength a little bit, whatever. All good, right? You can do that for the alpha as well. Let's go ahead and set this up so that this material is has the alpha. And so what I'm going to do is I'm also going to go over here to this material right here, and I'm just going to hit this to duplicate it so I have another version of it, and I'm not messing up the main one. But the way I had this set up is that you can just grab this here, you just copy and put it into a new material. So let's do that. So let's grab this, and I'm going to delete all the materials off of both of these, I guess. And well, let's not do both of them. Let's see. All right, well, say for example that I did. I can go to my asset browser, right? Let's grab this. Got this up here again, right? And all I want is the node setup. So I'm gonna go into my shader editor and grab this. Go ahead and copy it. Click on this. Go ahead and make a new material, and boom, just drop it in. Right? Cool. And since I don't have a mask example right now, I'm just gonna grab these for this one. So I'm just gonna grab this. So copy back here, and we'll add this in here. Paste. All right, nice. And then I'll just, we'll just plug this mask map into here, and then I can do whatever I want. So let's make this black, I guess, for now. And let's just make sections here. Let's make the yellow section invisible, right? Now I could just set this yellow into the alpha and go over here and change my settings to alpha hashed. And now just that area is showing. That's not what I want to do. But it's something you can do. Now let's say I just want that area to be gone. Or I want to change just the alpha of that section. So let's hit Shift A, search, hit search, we'll do another mix node, toss that in here. Oh, and I need to make sure this alpha is plugged into the FAC. Right? All right, and both of these levels are full. So for alpha, full A is what it is, right? And in this case, you can see that that area has some alpha to it. Right, there's something behind it. Let me go ahead and make a cube or something, throw it behind here. All right, cool. And we can see that there is now see-through, and I can change how see-through it is by just messing with the level of alpha that I want to apply to it. Right, it's mostly see-through. It's completely see-through or predominantly see-through. Just shade behind it. So you can use this splitter for all kinds of things when you're dealing with your mask. You can make new masks and then use it to apply specific things to certain areas. And then you can bake all of it to one final thing in the end. And now you can export that out to your game engine and you'll be good to go, right? You can move your stuff around, right? So let's say, for example, we have this image, right? And so here's our image right here. I'll plug it in, it's on both of them, right? Let's say I need these bottom ones to be red, green, and blue as well. Or I want this to rearrange, right? I need my blue to be for green and whatnot. And you can do the exact same thing, right? Let's go ahead and make one of these for the colors. And I'm gonna plug this color one directly into this base here. And let's go ahead and we'll keep the red one as it is. We'll grab the green one and I'll put that in here, right? And I'm going to change this one to blue, and I'm just going to just send it full blue. There we go. And I have a little bit of bleed on here, and I'm not exactly sure how to get rid of that completely. But in my experience, a lot of times when we're dealing with like the UVs, unless they're like specific to the edge, a lot of UVs should have a little bit of run over. It shouldn't be a major factor. But if it is, I'm not yet sure how to fix that. So as soon as I figure out how to fix that level of bleed, I will do so. But I do not know how to do it. I apologize. Sometimes when you're layering stuff on top of each other, you can get a better feel for how that works. But I don't know how to do that just yet. I know in Photoshop I would often just expand it by 2. I don't even think there is an expand node. See, is there an expand? No, no, no. So I had to do some research for myself. But for most general intents and purposes, this should solve the problem. I don't remember what the colors were I'm switching. Oh, okay, so I need blue. So we'll grab blue here, and we'll make blue green instead. All right, there we go. So now they're switched on this side. It probably would work fine if I just unplugged that and then just filled in all the colors that I needed for it. But in that example, I moved, instead of being red, green, blue, this is now blue and then green. So there's a lot of flexibility. I'm not going to go over every possible thing that can be done, but it's a pretty good thing that I've been using in my projects to make sure I don't have to keep building this setup all over and again. So let me just break it down real quick, just how it's set up. It's pretty simple. I have a wiki that I just put up that kind of breaks it down. And this is kind of what it is right here. And I'm going to have to set this up a little bit better. But if I go in here and take a look at it, you can hit the little button to open it all up. This is what it looks like. And these things always look way more daunting than they are. Just a bunch of wires and stuff attaching. So what I have is I have an input from the color mask into a separate color, right? Into the 3 different channels. So then I take up here, this is the red and the green channel, and then I multiply those together, and then I multiply in the blue channel, and then I'm using a bright contrast node to make sure it's nice and clear. And then that gives me all the whites, right? All 3 colors together equal white. So that's what I want. Yeah. For the black, it's essentially the same thing, right? I've got red and green multiplying against each other. And then I got that red and green, the output multiplying against blue. Then I used a brightness contrast and then an invert to reverse exactly like the opposite of black and white. And then what I did is I subtracted each of the colors individually one at a time. So I subtracted red from the result, subtracted green, and then I subtracted blue. And you follow the lines back, that's what they're all attached to. And then I ran that through another brightness contrast just to make sure it was clear. And boom, that gave me my black section. Red, you think you just pop in red and it will work. But because the other red is used in yellow and in cyan, just using a red node only really works if you only have red. If you have the cyan and the yellow in your mask map, you'll get some blending and some weird stuff. So what this does is it just gives you just the red. So the red, if I look at my little map here, and it's going to be just this, right? Can I zoom in on this? Zoom. So, oh, there, all right, let me slow down. So here's the breakdown, right? Red, I took the red and I subtracted green from it with a math node, not a vector math, just a regular math node. And then from that result, I subtracted blue, ran it through a contrast brightness node, That gave me a nice clean factor for red. Green, green minus blue, then minus red, gave me green, blue, minus red, then minus green, gave me blue. Cyan, it was essentially the same thing as red. I subtracted the green, and then I multiplied the blue. I can't remember the math as to why that works, but it works great. And so it just gave me the cyan block. And as you can see, green minus blue, then multiplied versus the red, gave me yellow, and then for magenta. And that's pretty much it. So if this doesn't work for you, if you go into if you try to load the blend file and for whatever reason there's a version issue, if you can essentially make this setup within your Blender, you should be good to go. I've seen some very advanced setups, a bunch of shaders and all kinds of crazy stuff like that, which I think will give you some benefits for certain types of blending later. But for me, I use a lot of Principled BDSF when I'm trying to export my stuff. I love text tools, and it relies on the Principled BDSF. It's such a good, simple format to use. I use that one. So something like this works a lot better for me than having to mix a bunch of shaders together, right? Mixing shaders definitely has its purpose if you're going to stay in Blender or whatnot. But when you need to move out of Blender, sometimes that can be a bit cumbersome to go ahead and make something beautiful and then have to bring it back out of that system, right? But if you're staying in Blender, I think there's some guides on how to do that. And this method would probably work as well. So that's all I have for this. I'm going to load this up to my my GitHub. I'll go ahead and put the link in my the video description, I guess. And yeah, and then I'll include the text document as well. And hopefully this helps people do something. I've tried to find videos for this online, and for whatever reason, they were either highly convoluted or just didn't exist, or I just couldn't find them. So hopefully this will reach more people and they'll be able to find this and use it for themselves. And of course, this is just basic Blender stuff. So I didn't invent anything here. I'm just sharing my knowledge. All right. Hope all's well and y'all have a good one.